Hey guys, and welcome back to Sonic and the Secret Rings. Today we're going to be heading to Pirate Storm to pick up the water blue ring that Sinbad was chin-wagging about. It's the only thing that can put out the fires of the Ifrit and allow us to beat it up and stop it exploding the evil foundry. I'm going to be honest, the world building isn't the best in Sonic and the Secret Rings, so I'm not entirely sure what we're saving people from when we stop the evil foundry from exploding.
Well, I think the world building suffers a fair bit from the fact that it is all over the place as a game. Like, you can go to these missions and you can accidentally do shit out of order, and it just makes the whole thing feel less cohesive.
Yeah, like for example, the very first world ring you find might come second or third.
Yeah, and it's like, there's certain lines of dialogue in some of the cutscenes that it sort of assumes you've already got world rings that you haven't, and it's really jarring. Yes, in terms of Pirate Storm, this is the part of the game where, to me, it goes from a bit meh to I really don't like this. And that's because this is where they ramp up the bullshit jumps. It's also where they ramp up the bottomless pits and the other things that you can fall off of, which are fucking lovely.
I mean, visually it's exciting, the music matches the tone I guess they were trying to set, so there's no dissonance, but yeah, it's a bit boring. Also, these fucking things get introduced, and oh, there's a mandatory mission later with two of them over a bottomless pit. That is very easy to get clipped on. I'll point it out once we get there.
Oh. Not a snitch or anything, but Tom, I seem to recall you fucking that up a lot, eh?
You're a cunt, so yeah. I mean, he's right, but I'm also right with that assessment, so...
Yeah, but the thing there is, I'm proud of it.
This is definitely where the game starts to pick up in difficulty. I mean, we will be going back to like Evil Foundry and Sand Oasis to get world rings and whatnot, but the game in general, just moving forward, definite difficulty spike.
And also because what you have to do is you have to use homing attacks over those bottomless pits. And considering the homing attack is as janky as anything, because of having to push forward, it just ends up being... you end up more likely to die because there's a bottomless pit than anything else.
Well, for someone like us who, like, do Let's Plays and whatnot, that's not very grammatically correct, I'm sorry, but whatever. I've started, so I'll finish. It's a bit of a pig since we have to redo stuff. There's checkpoints aplenty throughout the level, so it's only really in very rare cases that the casual player will start to get frustrated with that stuff. And as for the homing attack, I know Sonic Movies hates having to, you know, whip the controller forward, but apart from a few instances, I've never really had that big of a problem with it. Like, I fully recognise that it is a problem, and it could very easily be solved with a button press, because as you can see here, there's a lock-on system, which kind of negates the need to use motion controls at all, since it's not exactly going to fire you into harm's way most of the time. But I had a point at the start of this, I've forgotten. Homing attack, 75% good, 25% bad, I'd say. But 25% is still way too much for what should be a finished game.
Basically, yes.
The problems with the jump, like, my problems with the jump aren't solely the motion controls. Like, I don't like that it's the push forward thing. I find that a lot more finicky than it needs to be. But it's also that because positioning yourself to make the jump in itself can be a bit of a task, because, you know, it's like I mentioned earlier that there's the brake button and it's hard to keep a decent flow while still jumping accurately. And there's also deciding whether you need to do one of the charge up jumps, which is a really weird mechanic, I find.
Yeah.
So it's... the jumping problems are a case of, like, you know, the preparation time as well as the jump itself, which just makes it more prominent of an issue.
I get you. What's your take on Pirate Storm, Rich? Were there any memorable things that stuck out for you?
Interesting visuals, decent song, bottomless pits of water were the bane of my existence, from what I recall.
Oh, I like how the djinns, the evil genies, are like pirate themed. I think they change in every level, but don't quote me on that.
I think they do seem like, maybe it's the colour scheme, maybe it's just because we're in different settings and they feel different, I don't know, but like, it does feel like the enemies themselves are cool designs to me, at least.
Well, you can't really go wrong with evil spirits and whatnot. And by the way, you may have seen it before now, possibly in Dire Jungle. If there's ever like a chest, or a cage I should say, with nothing in it, use Time Break, you will most likely find a fire soul there.
Ah.
I didn't even realise that.
Well, I mean, you watched me record the whole game, mate. You still didn't clock onto it.
No, I'm not good at, paying attention.
That and most things, but I digress. We're coming up to a very cool, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's a term to describe a certain set piece. There we go. It's
That's the one.
Imagine if even after that I didn't get it right. All the humanity. But yeah, the main set piece of the level is pretty cool, and it involves surfing, which is always good visually. But I've kind of already run out of stuff to say about Pirate Storm, which is not really true for the other levels. It's just a very middle of the road level. It's not very good, it's not very bad. There's definitely a worse level than Pirate Storm, and I don't like the level design or the music in that one, but that's coming in the second half of the game, so I can't say anything about it right now.
But yeah, this is really fucking cool to look at. Especially you get them boost sections before it, which good job ruining the effect by crashing into shit, but...
Well, what can I say? I'm just a guy who loves adventure. Getting flashbacks to Sonic Rush Adventure here.
Oh yeah, because that is built primarily around the pirate aesthetic, isn't it? And that game, I actually haven't replayed that in a long time, but I remember having a good time with it.
It's decent. I just much prefer the simplicity of the original Rush, although I think the story may be better in Rush Adventure, like Marine aside. I remember, actually no, the final boss is better in Rush as well, what am I saying?
Well, I think the thing with Rush Adventure that kind of kills it is that it does get a bit repetitive, because there's like lock-off points that you have to go and fetch items from replaying levels, and
yes,
like I like replaying Sonic levels because it's usually fun to try and adapt to it and get faster and faster, but I don't like being forced to do it. That's when it gets a bit of a problem for me.
Yeah, also Sky Babylon aside, I prefer the levels in the first Rush game. It's kind of a Spyro 2 versus Spyro 3 case. Like, Spyro 2, probably the best Spyro, just like in terms of a consensus, but I find a lot of the levels to be kind of dull or bland, which isn't the case from the third game.
Well, having not played Spyro, I think.
Yeah, I've never played the third game, so I can't really say.
Okay, well, apparently my co-coms are a bunch of plebs who need to play some Kino PS1 titles.
I'm sorry, I played Spyro 2, and I love Spyro 2, but that is the only Spyro game that I've actually played outside of Enter the Dragonfly, but the less said about that one, the better.
Yeah.
Shoot first and ask questions later, huh? That's pirates for you.
I thought real pirates, like the best pirates, never steal things or do anything wrong. That's what that Disney trailer told me.
Oh, it wasn't a trailer, it was just like a piece of artwork. I think it was for like... is it Jake and the Neverland Pirates, I want to say it is. And it's like, remember, good pirates never steal. I very nearly became like a Twitter or Tumblr call-out post, like, sweetie, I think you got the basic conceit of a pirate wrong there, you fucking clod.
Yeah.
How do I do a Beyonce gif through voice? I don't know how to do this, I'm fucked.
Oh man, the next couple of missions bent me over and just went to town. This is where a lot of what Richy's saying kind of comes to fruition. Bottomless pits galore, and especially very prevalent on the don't get defeated thing. Don't get defeated means don't die, essentially.
Yeah.
General life advice, but still.
Well, since we're going through incredibly annoying missions, shall we have story time with Richy again, but this time for Sinbad the Sailor?
Nice, go for it.
So, it begins with Sinbad the Porter and Sinbad the Sailor. Like the 1001 Nights, the Sinbad story cycle has a frame story, which is basically in the days of Harun al-Rashid, Caliph of Baghdad, a poor porter, one who carries goods for others in the market and throughout the city, pauses to rest on a bench outside the gate of a rich merchant's house, where he complains to Allah about the injustice of a world which allows the rich to live in ease, while he must toil and yet remain poor. The owner of the house hears and sends for the porter, finding that they are both named Sinbad. The rich Sinbad tells the poor Sinbad that he became wealthy by fortune and fate in the course of 7 wondrous voyages, which he then proceeds to relate.
Hang on, is this where the Prince and the Pauper originates from?
I don't know, but it perhaps might have been an influence on that tale.
Well, I'm just saying they're both called Sinbad. Porter sounds like Pauper. It's a stretch, but there's an inkling of truth there.
How can I relate it to this thing I do know?
Oh, shut up. Carry on with your story, Richy, I'm sorry.
So there's a whole thing called monomyths, where different cultures around the world have very similar stories.
Yes, yeah.
That ultimately will have the same root somewhere, but they all seem to have popped up at around the same time, I think. So it's difficult to sometimes pinpoint exactly where the story came from.
Well, you know, copyright law didn't exist back then, so it was just very easy to rip off someone else.
Yeah. Anyway, with Sinbad the Sailor, there are obviously 7 voyages, and each of the voyages gets spoken about. So the first one is after dissipating the wealth left to him by his father, Sinbad goes to sea to repair his fortune and sets ashore on an island that is actually a gigantic sleeping whale on which trees have taken root ever since the world was young. And he saves the king's horse from being drowned by a seahorse. There's a king of some description somewhere, and basically, yeah, he gets loads of money from it because the king gives him rich presents because he did a good. The second voyage, which apparently happens on the 549th night of Shahrazad's Tales.
Okay, bit specific, but I'll allow it.
I know. Basically, Sinbad tells how he grew restless from his life of leisure, from obviously having gotten loads of money, and goes to sea again because he was possessed with the thought of travelling about the world of men, seeing their cities and islands. This is the one where he ends up stranded on an island which contains rook eggs, and ends up being transported to the giant valley of snakes. But the floor is carpeted. Well, the floor of the valley is carpeted with diamonds, and merchants harvest them by throwing chunks of meat into the valley. The birds carry the meat back to their nests, and the men drive the birds away and collect the diamonds stuck to the meat. So Sinbad does that, and then is rescued from the nest, and obviously makes a fortune. The third voyage, basically he's restless again, so he goes out again.
This lad gets restless a lot, doesn't it?
I know, but they end up on an island where him and his companions are captured by a huge creature in the likeness of a man. Black of colour, with eyes like coals of fire, and large canine teeth like boar's tusks, and a vast big gape like the mouth of a well.
Okay.
And it just keeps going, and basically it's just a man-eating giant. Sinbad hatches a plan to blind the beast with 2 red-hot iron spits, with which the monster has been kebabbing and roasting the ship's company, and he and the remaining men then escape on a raft. However, the giant's mate hits most of the escaping men with rocks and they are killed, but then Sinbad does escape, goes on further adventures which are not told of, and although I think it does include a gigantic python from which Sinbad escapes using his quick wits, and then he returns to Baghdad wealthier than ever.
That Cyclops thing reminds me of something I saw in, I think it was Hercules, Disney's Hercules, the TV series. So maybe it came from the Odyssey or something? I don't know.
Yes, I'm pretty sure, I can't remember, I think it is the Odyssey, because there's a story of, I think it's Odysseus, or it might be on, I can't remember the specifics. It's definitely there's definitely a Greek narrative which involves a giant spit roasting humans and then getting fooled, well, getting his eyes poked out, but I can't remember.
This is the bit. This is the fucking bit right here. You know what you have to do? You just have to go low. Get low, baby. That's all you gotta do. But for me, I tried to go over the top, so that's where my problems came in. I was successful here because I just looked out, but yeah, this was a good take out of about 10 or so.
Good grief, Tom, that's insane.
Alright, you may continue, Rich, I'm sorry.
So, that's fine. So, 4th voyage, impelled by restlessness, Sinbad takes to the seas again, and as usual is shipwrecked, Clearly he's a pretty crap sailor.
Just stay home and jerk off or something. Christ, you've got money. What else do you want?
I know. He ends up finding some naked savages who he finds he finds himself feed his companions a herb which robs them of their reason, and then they fatten them and eat them, so he has landed on an island of cannibals. But basically, he escapes. Then there's a party of itinerant pepper gatherers transporting him to their own island, where their king befriends him and gives him a beautiful and wealthy wife. But then he finds out that there's a peculiar custom of the land, which is on the death of one married partner, the other is buried alive with his or her spouse.
Oh,
both in their
jeez.
finest clothes and most costly jewels. Sinbad's wife falls ill and dies soon after, leaving him trapped in an underground cavern. And obviously he just has a jug of water and several pieces of bread. And basically, just as those supplies are almost exhausted, another couple, the husband dead and the wife alive, are dropped into the cavern. Sinbad bludgeons the wife to death and takes her rations, because obviously he's a dick.
Wow.
Just made it.
The episodes continue, and basically...
No. How did Sinbad get out of that one?
Well, no. The episodes continue of that.
Oh, okay.
And then a wild animal shows up and shows him a passage to the outside, high above the sea. And then he gets on a ship and gets back to Baghdad.
Oh, okay, so that woman didn't have to die at all. Great.
Effectively, yes. The fifth voyage ends up, obviously, once again, shipwrecked. But
Yeah.
passes a desert island and spot a gigantic egg which belongs to a rook. And they disembark to view the egg, only to end up breaking it and having the chick inside as a meal. Obviously Sinbad's just like, yeah, that was a stupid idea to do. And then they end up shipwrecks. He's enslaved by the old man of the sea, who rides on his shoulders with his legs twisted round Sinbad's neck and will not let go. And eventually he makes wine and tricks the old man into drinking some, and then kills him, and then escapes. Sixth voyage, basically shipwrecked yet again.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
His his companions die of starvation until only he is left. He ends up building a raft and discovers a river running out of a cavern beneath the cliffs. The steam proves to be filled with precious stones and becomes apparent that the island streams flow with ambergris, which is something or other. Falls asleep through the journey, wakes in the city of the king of Serendib, which is Ceylon in Sri Lanka.
Okay.
And the king marvels at what Sinbad tells him, yada yada yada, gives him presents, and yeah, so he returns to Baghdad and is obviously rich beyond all belief. Then he goes on his final voyage, because he's ever restless, and also there's the usual results. Here the chief of the merchants weds Sinbad to his daughter, makes him his heir, and conveniently dies. The inhabitants of the city are transformed once a month into birds, and Sinbad has one of the bird people carry him to the uppermost reaches of the sky, where he is the angel glorifying God. But then he hears the words that there's going to be a fire comes from heaven which consumes all but the birdmen. And obviously the birdmen are angry with Sinbad and sent him down on a mountaintop. All stuff to do with God, yada yada yada. But yeah, basically, at his wife's suggestion, he sells all his possessions and returns with her to Baghdad, where at last he resolves to live quietly in the enjoyment of his wealth and to seek no more adventures.
And then he went on to die in a shipwreck, the end.
The moral of the story is build a better ship.
Yeah, pretty much. No, just learn how to fucking drive, Jesus.
I know. There is a variant on that tale, but that's not really important. But ultimately, in some versions, you return to the frame story in which Sinbad Porter receives a final generous gift from Sinbad the Sailor. But that's only in some versions.
Yeah, it's probably not the one that involved Sinbad killing an innocent woman and taking her food.
Oh no, that happens in all of them.
Oh, well fuck him then. Sorry Knuckles, you're no longer my favourite historical character. Anyway, Captain Behemoth here. The weak point is the horn. He's got missiles, he's got water-bending attacks. You just gotta get up to him. You can do this quickly with a speed break, which you can actually stun him if you manage to hit him with speed break, which is something I never knew until recently. And if you see him charging this, get off, I guess. Not that way, you pervs. And yeah, just keep taking out the horns. There's 4 in all. bada bing, bada boom, boss fight. It's pretty fun actually, and I also like the music. I believe it's called Blue on the Run.
I believe so. Yeah, I quite like this boss actually. It's a cool concept. I do feel kind of morbid just ripping his body apart like that, but yeah, that's what we got to do with, you know.
I like the ripping stuff off, I just don't like that it's a little bit of a frustrating boss fight sometimes, because it's very easy to get hit by his electric attacks, because obviously Sonic's not really the most manoeuvrable character in this game.
Well, at least the missiles are easy enough to dodge. You just veer left and right. There you go. One sad thing about this is that it's a good boss, but most of the levels in Secret Rings do not have bosses. There's like 3 to 5 max, and that includes the final boss, which is a real shame.
Definitely, yes.
It does feel like the sort of thing that maybe they just didn't have a way to properly integrate them into this weird, fucked up, like, progression system that they put together, and it's like they just got sort of pushed off to the side. I don't know.
Yeah, you're probably right with that one.
So, really, again, they should have had a more logical progression system.
Nicely done, me. God, I got tons of EXP for that one. Holy shit!
Tons of EXP that you're not really going to use.
Says you. I leveled up twice.
Because that level up thing in Sonic and the Secret Rings, you can use that to show how successful you are.
Yes, very much so. Your penis is maximum if it's level 99.
Okay.
Did not need that.
Yeah, let's end on an awkward note, shall we? Please stop going da-da-da-da-dun!
Like, it might sound annoying to people watching the playthrough, but I had to sit through Tom making that fucking noise over Skype every single fucking time through the recording session. That is far more annoying than the game.
If I have to suffer, you have to suffer as well. And, yeah, the inhabitants of the world can't touch them, but Sonic can. That's, not really touched on, as far as I'm aware.
I guess it might have something to do with that curse or whatever, you know, the fire thing in his chest. It's kind of, that's the only thing we've got to go on, otherwise I'm just bullshitting here first still.
Pretty much.
Also, you know what really disappoints me? Is that when Sonic grabbed the ring, it didn't go da-da-da-da-da!
Son of a fuck. Alright guys, we shall see you next time when the second half of Secret Rings begins, back at Evil Foundry.